Cyclists who are injured as a result of a transport accident are covered under the TAC scheme, and they have the same entitlements to compensation as a driver of a vehicle or a passenger in a vehicle. But the law surrounding the entitlement of cyclists in transport accidents has been problematic over the years. The Transport Accident Act, the TAC scheme if you like, was set up to compensate people who were injured directly as a result of the driving of a vehicle, which covers motor vehicles in the traditional sense, cars, covers also trams, buses and trains. The problems have arisen where cyclists have been injured, for instance, when a parked motorist has opened their car door into the path of an oncoming cyclist, and the cyclist has collided into the door and has been injured. Or another situation where a cyclist has just collided into a parked car. Now, up until recent times, the Transport Accident Scheme did not recognise the entitlement to compensation for cyclists who'd been injured in those situations. But recently there have been amendments to the law, and now the situation where a cyclist is injured as a result of colliding into a car door which is opened by a driver in a parked car, they now are entitled to the same compensation as a cyclist who is hit by a car that's being driven. Likewise too, a cyclist who collides into a parked car and is injured has the same rights now to compensation. So these are recent developments which have very much covered what were sort of, if you like, black holes in the compensation scheme, which related specifically to cyclists who may have been injured on the roads. Further to that, a cyclist may be entitled to compensation from the TAC where they've been injured as a result of an accident that hasn't actually involved them specifically colliding with a vehicle, but has been caused or arisen from the driving of a vehicle. And you might be able to think of a situation where a cyclist has to take evasive action because of a driver in a car suddenly changing lanes, and the cyclist has to swerve to miss that car, doesn't hit the car, but hits the gutter, goes over the handlebars and is injured. Now, that situation is recognised by TAC as giving entitlements to the cyclist for compensation for their injuries, because it's seen as arising out of the driving of a vehicle, that vehicle swerving, if you like, or changing lanes without indicating, and the cyclist having to take evasive action.